The Mexican army says it has killed the leader of the country's most powerful drug cartel. Nemesio Oseguera, known as El Mencho, was the head of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. Mexico says the United States helped provide information for the military operation that led to his death. Previously, the US offered a reward of more than $21 million for information leading to arrest. Well, multiple vehicles have now been set on fire in the state of Jalisco following the operation. The cartel's home state is known for trafficking huge quantities of fentanyl and other drugs into the United States. Well, I'm joined by Transnational Crime and Terrorism expert, Professor Guadalupe Correa-Cabrera. Very good morning to you. Tell us a bit more about El Mencho. Who was he?
Nemesio Oseguera, alias Mencho, was supposedly the sole and main leader of the cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, that has presence in a number of states and has caused a lot of violence, and it's supposedly fighting for the control of drug trafficking plazas all around Mexico. And it's the main leader, and he has been one of the main creators of this organization, and that's basically what we know about him. He wasn't present in the media. We didn't know a lot of things about him in the past few years, but we know he had some health issues since the mid 2010s, and this Cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación is probably the main organization dealing with drug trafficking and other criminal activities like human smuggling and human trafficking, fuel smuggling, and a number of other criminal activities. The diversification of criminal activities in Mexico is part of the criminal model of organizations like the Sinaloa Cartel now and the Cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación. The Sinaloa Cartel, after the loss of their leadership, it has been weakened, and the Cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación is the main cartel and supposedly the most dangerous organization in the country and maybe in the Western Hemisphere.
So what information has been released there, Guadalupe, about the operation, which had American help?
Yes, it was the Mexican military forces that were in charge of this operation, but with help of military task force, the anti-cartel task force of the United States, that collaborated. And we don't really know in these operations, usually, we don't really know what is the extent of the collaboration or the participation of the United States government. And today we are talking about the Pentagon, the military, after the denomination of cartels and other criminal organizations of the Western Hemisphere as drug traffic, as terrorist groups. The Pentagon is participating directly out of the U.S. Borders, and going after cartels is one of its main tasks. The national security strategy and the focus on the Western Hemisphere also makes this as a primary goal of the U.S. government. This has been part of the discourse of the United States government, of course, of the President of the United States and all its cabinet before the election of 2024 and today. This has been a primary task of the United States government. That's why they help the Mexican military.
Guadalupe, it's led to violence on the streets. What's happening, and why is that happening?
Well, this is happening because that's part of a kingpin strategy. When you go and you behead a cartel or a criminal organization, there is a fight for the control of the leadership of this group. And this group was fighting the control of territory, or the so-called drug trafficking plazas, or plazas where other criminal activities take place. And so other groups are trying to establish control over that territory. That is the mainstream explanation of why, after the capture of the leadership of these criminal groups, you have immediately very high levels of violence. That happened in the case of the Sinaloa cartel, when El Chapo Guzman and his sons, and also different leaders of other organizations, have been captured. That's what has happened in other occasions. That this generates, per se, violence because of the control of this the fight for the control within the organization, and because of the weakening of the organization and the attempt of other organizations to control that territory that was dominated by the group.
Guadalupe Correa-Cabrera, thank you.